Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Flippin' Bonds. We have the infamous two-year flipper. Flipper, it's been an interesting couple of weeks here.
Interesting couple of weeks. I mean, the 2-year, 5-year, actually since, if you just look at it from the FOMC minutes when they came out last week, the 2-year had a range in, basically 24 hours almost of a month. And we did it in 24 hours, like from 1 o'clock, whenever the minutes came, the minutes come out at 1, we probably made the low at like maybe 105. And by 4 o'clock that day, it was 18 to 23.5, and we exploded, I want to say, all the way up to at least 6 1/4, probably 6 1/2 we got out, maybe even a tick higher. So, I mean, that's a month range in the 2-year, and we did it in 24 hours.
Now, were you very active during that time period?
I was. The FOMC minute day was not my finest hour trading. Actually, I got tagged early in the morning. I actually made I had a nice run. I got it back down to where it was manageable. And then when the minutes came out, I saw something in the 5-year I wanted to sell, and I started selling, and it was just ugly. I got out. I mean, when I got out, I probably saved myself another 20 grand by getting out where I did, because the 5-years were just relentless. And then I went back to the 2-year, and like after I bagged my 5-year at about 140, from 140 to 4, all the damage I lost in the 5-year I got back and then some. I finished a little down on the day, but then Thursday and Friday I just completely clobbered the market. I just had a good read on it. But it was a very tough week, and the minutes was very confusing because I actually got out of some great Fed fund spreads that I was livid I had to get out of because I didn't know what was going on with the minutes. When I saw us puking our lows, I was short a bunch of spreads I had to cover. I didn't have a choice.
Just to clarify, you don't really you don't even follow. You don't read the minutes per se. You know they're coming out.
I know they're coming out. I'm price action. I mean, strictly price action. I don't know what. I mean, I read what everyone tweets, and like I said, charts and what people say, all of it means nothing to me. I mean, they're helpful tools, and there are a lot of smart people who can break down what they say. Full Carry's phenomenal at it. So is IntraStar. They're great follows. They can break down anything they say. It's just not my game. I'm strictly for what's it going to do in the minute after. I don't really care. I don't care what she says long term. I don't care what she's saying long term. Whether we're whether we're going to ease, whether we're not buying. The Fed's not going to buy bonds anymore. They are. I don't care. It really makes no difference in my minute to to my second to second trade.
Makes sense to me. Hey, I know that one of the things that you promised people, because you were ranting and raving about it, particularly last week, was this algo that's floating around. And
so I'll talk about the algo all day. So everyone's aware of, and I've talked to a few people about this, and I'm going to explain something that people just don't realize. If I could be first on every order I get in the 2-year, so if I catch a turn, and if I could be first on that out, if I had a program that could put me first on my out, right now my P&L on the year, I would be north of 10 million for the amount of contracts I put on this year. And I might be shortchanging myself because what you're saying is, I mean, everyone knows the importance of FIFO, like being first. Being first is everything. I can't tell you, like last Wednesday of the morning, I got run on a big order. It was, and it traded 1,000 times where I needed to scratch him. If I were first on that, I scratched a trade and I don't take a 10K loss. But I wasn't first on them. I sold whatever I sold, and I took a bath on the remaining balance. And I mean, right there, just in one trade right there, there's 10 grand I would have made, or not made, but not lost, on a specific trade. So what this algo has done, and I'll explain it to people who really don't understand. I'm not going to go into number quantities because I still think there's something to it. But I'll say what this algo did. The algo that is designed is to throw their orders in first in the book. So if the 2-year, and I don't know what the 2-year is right now. I didn't really watch it today. I'll bring it up real quick. So we're 22 bid at 22 quarter. And so they just bought 1,000 at 2 quarter in the 2-year. Well, if I had a 50 lot that I was first on, the ability to put a 50 lot there, because I'm long 2s right now. I bought them on the close, and I sold like 4 contracts on that last exchange there. But I still have the majority of my position. What I'm long right now, I would already be out because it traded 1,000 times. But I don't get that. I don't have a program that steals from traders who legitimately make markets. So let's go. I'll go back to the beginning. Let's talk high frequency trading here. I'm a big fan of it. I think it's vital to the markets. I think most of them, I bet you 80% of them are legit. Like, they legit provide liquidity. They might skate on thin ice, but they're still good. You need them in the market. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the guy who flips it in the 2-year where he's putting 15, 20,000 on the bid, trying to get other traders to bid it up or offer it, and then he'll flip them. You know, he'll take his 15,000, he'll hit 2,000, and you'll be like, wait, there was just 15,000 on the bid. How'd only 1,500 trade? Well, because he tried to pick everyone off. He was goosing the market by 13,000. I'm okay with that. It's fair. He's putting his order out there where he legit can get hit. Fair game. I'm not opposed to it at all. What I am opposed to is somebody creating a program that puts his order first in the queue. Meaning, if I was on that 22 bid in the 2-year and I bought 50, or I caught the turn, you know, we were just 2 sellers, I caught the turn, and there's like 8,000 there, but there's 60,000 on the offer. So we all know how the algo works in the 2-year. It's a K algorithm. There's a percentage, and that's fine. You know, you could either put your offer out there whole, or you can play a game where you kind of overquote it if you want to get out if they're trading. Well, if I had 50 on, and let's just say there's 10,000 on the offer. If I put a 50 lot on the offer and a 200 lot trades into it, I'll probably sell a 1 lot. I mean, based on the algo rules, I'd sell a 1 lot. But the person who designed this algo can put his order first, and he's going to sell 50 and completely screw the traders who are legit out there, leaving size out there. And so this guy gets to come in and, you know, be a thief. That's not a level playing field. I'm okay with high-frequency firms being closer to the servers by the CME because they pay big bucks for that. Again, I'm not playing a level playing field, but it's level enough where I can carve out a living. I do trade a little behind, a little behind like an 8-ball, you could per se, but still, what they're doing is legit. Like, they're putting the markets out there, they're putting their orders out there, they're willing to get hit, they're willing to take the risk. I'm good with that. I'm not good with this algo. So I noticed it, you know what, I noticed it about 2.5 weeks ago, but I wasn't always in the market when it was going on. And I was like, oh, that kind of looked funny, and then all of a sudden I saw something I had to do, so I went into the market. So I didn't pay attention to it again. So I lost track of it. But it was last, whatever morning it was, I forget, and I remember the orders, I remember the exact quantities. And I'm like, wait a second, it's not somebody's market here. I remember the price went 1/4 bid, 1/2 traded, we went back 1/4 sellers. Now it's impossible for it to be somebody's market at 1. It can be somebody's market where they're first, obviously, but a trader cannot legit get the full quantity that trades. It's impossible. It's not your market. It went 1/4 bid. Lo and behold, a quantity trades into it, goes to one trader. I'm like, that's not right. It can't be somebody's market. Another quantity goes in and does the same trade. Now I'm livid. I'm like, this is wrong. So I take the bid at that time, was 4,000 at the time, and I bid it up. I mean, I bid it up where I was 20%. I took it up, 20%. You guys can figure out the math. I know what I put in. But anyways, I take it up to a number, and another trade hits the market. Now I'm livid because that cost me money. Because I was 20% of the bid, I should have gotten X percent. I didn't get them. Now I'm pissed, so I call CME. Like, you guys are cheating me here. I'm legit out there. It's impossible to be somebody's market here. What's going on? You know, CME goes, well, it's a bug, it's this, we've got it under control, we're aware of it. And I'll call BS on it because it's still happening and it's not a bug. Because a bug would reward the person who's legit first in line. But you can't tell me the quantities that are going through are always the same quantity. That's not a bug. That's somebody putting their order out in front. I know what I see. I mean, this is what I do for a living. I'm, you know, understanding this. Somebody is legit stealing money from traders, and it happened to me the next day where I was first on an order. I got what I initially got, didn't get filled on all of them. But we've established I'm first based on the fills I've already gotten. We go away from the price, we come back up to the price, it trades X amount of quantity, I won't reveal that. I got shut out, and I still was working contracts. Livid, like livid. It didn't matter the quantity it was. It's not enough to fight over. But it's a principle thing to me. I'm like, somebody put their order in front of mine. I put that order out there on unemployment. I know when I put the order out there. Unemployment came out in whenever it was, I don't even know if it was this, it had to be this last unemployment. I don't know. Was it the 4th of July unemployment?
It was, because I remember you ranting about it, and I mean, your explanation is so crystal clear to me right now. I mean, if you didn't move your order at all, right? And
no, unemployment came out. I saw it was going to be a bearish number, and I just started rifling orders in on the upside. You know, because I'm like, look, I want to put some orders up here, so I'm going to play that I know I'm within the first 50, 100 contracts. Well, yeah, and everyone will go, well, that's BS. Well, you know what? No, it's not BS. You know what? I'm putting an order out there. I'm willing to leave it out there overnight. You know, I expose myself to the market. I sleep sometimes through the night. I don't have warnings on sometimes. I mean, I'm aware of what's going on in the market. I know what orders are closed, what orders aren't. I'm aware of this. But that's it. You know, sometimes I do that, and it's more important when you physically flip a market. And I've done it. Like, you know, I'm short or I'm long, and I want to get long, and I try to catch an 80 lot, and I go to catch the 80 lot, and I just miss, and I know I just miss, but I'm okay with that because now all of a sudden the bid's going to build up, and now I'm in great position. I don't have to do anything except wait for it to trade hard, and I'm going to get filled, and it's whether I can wait it out and get a scalp out of it. But they're taking that away from me. I'm legit making a market, and this guy's going to wait until there's 100,000 on the bid when everything's in his favor, and all of a sudden toss an order in front. And even to get on to that point, the person who created this algo is a flippin' moron, because I could create the algo where you would never get caught, and this guy's getting caught. Like, if I were making the algo, I mean, obviously this guy made the algo and it's good, whatever, illegal, beyond illegal, you know, breaks every exchange rule. Not that CME is doing anything about it right now, or not to my knowledge, they're not. You know, I haven't seen fines, I haven't seen anything out there, so they might very well know who's doing it, and you know, they might. I don't know. I don't want to say they're not. I know they're aware of the issue.
They'd have to know who's doing it, wouldn't they? Or
the CME knows that. Like, they don't announce counterparties, which is something that you always want to know as a trader. You know, when I get run on certain orders, when I get hit, when people are doing certain trades, I want to know what house it is. And that was always stuff you knew in the pit. Like when Steve Anacchini or Dave Ryan was filling paper in the pit, those were two of the biggest 30-year brokers ever. You know, Dave Ryan was filling for Cantor Fitz. Anacchini was filling for Deutsche Bank or Morgan Stanley. You know, they both filled for Morgan Stanley. And I mean, you knew, okay, it's one of 5 houses right now Dave Ryan's filling for. He does 5 big houses. It's either Cantor Fitz, it's this. And then once it would be checked with a local, they would give up a house 444. Oh, it's Cantor Fitz. Cantor Fitz just unloaded 10,000 bonds that Dave Ryan just unloaded to the pit, and made every. So at least you know Cantor Fitz is building a position, or it's Goldman Sachs, whoever it is. It doesn't really matter. Us, the locals, we would find out who it was, and it's a great benefit to us to know what houses are doing. Because are they building a position? Are they putting something on? Are they doing a knob trade? Are they doing something in a 10-year along with it? Or if they're not doing something in 10 years, is this like a long-term position trade that these guys know something? I mean, those are things. But and that I don't even think that was a CME thing. I think this was a CBOT thing. They used to release who we traded with on the screen long time ago. Definitely in 04, 05. I don't know when they changed the exchange rule, but it's something that I would like it. But the CME knows everything. They know every order I have in the book when I call up. Is rightfully they should know.
Counterparties are right.
I mean, they know who the counterparties are. They'll never release it to me or in conversations you have. But they know who all counterparties are. They know who does what. Blah blah blah. It really doesn't matter. That's kind of off my rant on it. But it's just something nice to know. Well, I want to know who's doing this. Like, make it public. I don't think they ever made the firm public. I know what firm did it, but back in December when the bonds went up from like I think we were trading 130 and we went up to 135, 12 something overnight. It was like a 5-handle move in the bonds in a matter of Sell Puts would know this because he had the charts. I want to say we moved like 5 handles in under 5 minutes. Something that we didn't even do on 9/11. We didn't do that on 9/11. We didn't move 5 handles because I was in the pit trading. We moved, not 5 handles. I mean, they moved the market 5, and CME is very big on this. The trades weren't busted; they were adjusted. So all trades were good, and they made everyone adjust to, I think it was 130. Again, I might be a handle off here. It was either 130, 130, or 130, 230. Somebody will know this if they're listening. I mean, who's a Sell Puts definitely would know this. But again, a high-frequency firm comes in, and they tested something. It was an out and outright test that, look, it screwed up. It moved it 5 handles. Why should the person who is willing to sell it up at 134.20 and cover it, let's say he covered it at 134, so he made, say he did a 5 lot, he made 100 ticks. Great trade for him. Oh, you know what? Because he probably had to take it against him. He held it, went back down, he made his money. So he makes 100 ticks. Well, now every trade above 132 even, whatever it is adjusted down to 132. So the 100 ticks he just made evaporated. Why? Why is that fair for him? He was willing to take the risk, and he got hosed on it. It's not fair. It's not fair to him. He was willing to take the exposure in the market. And because the high-frequency firm, well, it was an error, it was this, it was that, I don't really care. You guys, I mean, if I fat finger, and I've done it a few times, CME doesn't say, oh, by the way, you can bust that. Please, by all means, let me bust it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I would love to have that money back. It was one of my, worst trading days in the last 2 years because I fat fingered something. And and then back on how these algos work. There's specific rules in place for how we trade the treasury rolls and whatnot. You're allowed to do 29,999 contracts in 1 click. That's what you're allowed to do. And CME's like, well, somebody needs to move 300,000 open interest. I'm like, great. All 4 of them doing it. I like it. I love them putting the liquidity in the market. Let a trader click it 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. I know how many clicks you can get off in a second. I've done it. I mean, I've done it on my TT. I've timed myself. I know exactly how many clicks I can get off. I know it's fast. I know it's slow. I know how many I can get off in 1 second. The reason they don't want, the reason you can do this is exchange rules that, fine, if it's 300,000 up, fine, sell 300,000, but let the trader hit it 10 times and see how long it takes, because traders are going to adjust. We're all going to adjust. Hey, that's a third one. I don't want these anymore. Get out and sell them with them, because this guy's got to sell. That's not what they're doing. They get around the rule by putting it through an algo they created. And that algo can rifle off 12 orders in under a second. No trader can react to that. Right. Because they're not just knocking out the price we're trading, they're knocking out a tick below. So their prices are going through the current bid. They go down to the next bid. So you can even sell the next bid and you're going to miss it because they have time on it. Because they made the market. And I don't have a problem with them making the market. I have zero problem with them making the market. I just have serious issues how they're executing their trades. Like, I'm not allowed to do that. Or, I guess you are. You know, if they made a program for it, those aren't level playing fields. And us, the locals who are out there, and fine, you know, we all play a wicked game. I mean, I know what everyone knows what we're doing on the treasury rolls. It's no secret. We don't need the size we have out there. But if we have the size out there, we have to be willing to take it. And that's fine. I mean, that's a game we play, and that's fine on treasury rolls. Fine. But it's BS that people are they're circumventing the rules to screw the trader. That's how it's a predatory algo. It's not an algo where these guys are. And again, I'm not as hard. I don't have as much of a problem with that algo as I do as somebody just cheating and putting themselves FIFO and making themselves first. And don't kid yourself. If it's in the 2-year, let's not kid ourselves. I know not a lot of people trade the 2-year and the 5-year like I do. I mean, people are out there in the bonds and whatnot, and there are a lot of mini S&P traders, and there are a ton of grain traders. Don't kid yourself. If this algo's in the 2-year, it's out there in other markets. And let me tell you, I know for a fact it's out there in the ag markets because I've talked to traders that trade it because we run on the same type of algo. And they've been noticing it it's not a fluke then. It can't be a fluke in multiple markets. People know what to do. They know the quantities to trade. And because if it was a bug in the system, I know the quantities that are consistently going through. I'll be the first to admit, put them out there. I put those quantities out there, even though they make no sense to me. I put the quantities out there. I'm like, okay, if it's a bug, fill me on one of mine. Then I'll believe it's a bug. But I never get filled. So that's right. Telling me something. It's not a bug because I have enough of them out there that I know it's not a bug. So that kind of stuff is it's irritating to me.
Let me just ask, is there a formal process for you to lodge a complaint with CME on these things?
I have some. I mean, I don't want to get what I'm doing with the CME, but yes, okay. I have open. No. I mean, you know what? Because some of it, I don't want it to seem like sour grapes. Like I had somebody contact me about this issue, and they wanted to tie it into like a big investor or something. Look. Investors don't trade bonds. The general public doesn't trade bonds. They don't trade the 10-year. They don't trade the 5-year, and they don't trade the 2-year. They're members. They're prop traders. All people these are the people who move the market. I mean, I'm not saying they're not banks in there. I'm not saying they're not. The average Joe isn't in a fund that is in the market. All possible, but the average Joe investor just doesn't come in and say, you know what, I want to just scalp bonds today. Get out of here. They'd be getting killed on commissions. Because if they're trading TradeStation, they're paying $4 a round turn or $5 a round turn. And I don't know where else they're playing. People who scalp don't pay $5 a round turn. We pay 32 cents a round turn or 34 cents, whatever we're at now. Or if you have a better deal, you pay 30 cents if you've traded that much. That's what we pay a round turn. That's why we can trade 2,000 aside and only have to make on 7% of our trades because we have the commissions. I mean, it's frustrating.
Yeah, I can certainly see that. I mean, I follow you, and I watched your tweets that day that this particular instance happened, and then it happened, I guess, again a day or two later. And I certainly empathize with you. It seems ridiculous. I mean, the case that you pointed out to begin with, where you were on the offer, it dropped off there and then came back, and then you knew you were first in line, and then didn't get filled. That was. I mean, for me, that's upsetting to anybody that's in the market.
Yeah, I mean, and again, you know what? It's not necessarily because I'll be honest. You know what? The amount of money it it's a joke. I mean, it's the principle on that one. I was more mad the day I bid the market up 20%, on that bid that morning, and they were rifling some orders in there, and I wasn't getting filled. Believe it or not, I would have made more money that morning because that was the low of the. It wasn't the low of the day. We had traded lower than that overnight, but it was the low of the. I think I'm lift these things bid. Yeah, I'm just trying to watch to see if they're going to lift these 2 quarters bid. I still have a small position on. I got out of most of them, but that's the frustrating stuff. It's like, so again, just to be first on this algo, I still have a position on in the 2-year, and I'm long from 22s, and it's traded, I don't know, 3,000-4,000 times on the 22, the quarter offer. I'm filled in everything yet. I mean, if I were first, I'd already be out, and it'd be lock, stock, I'd be counting my money, but I'm sure I'll go bid before the end of the day, or I'll get them overnight. But I'm sitting out there.
What's the point of it?
Yeah, what's the point? Well, somebody got to cheat their way to the money, and I'm not saying it happens all the time. I'm not saying that. It does not happen all the time. This algo is not running all day. I know that for a fact because I'm well aware of how fills should look and whatnot. I know it doesn't run all day, but I'm saying at times it does run, and that's what's more concerning is they're picking and choosing when they're running it, and that's the most frustrating thing, out there is they can pick and choose when they're going to do it. I mean, believe me, if I could pick and choose when I could be first on things, I'll be honest right now, I'd be first on the 22 bid. I would be. I go, so I'm filled, but I'd be right now. Oh, you know what? I want the first 100 contracts that trade at 22. Better yet, I want the first 200 contracts. I'll take them. Everything I'm watching right now. Yeah, I'll take them. Whatever you sell at 22, I'll take. And I mean, what a perfect opportunity to do that. There's hardly anything on the offer. Based on what I'm seeing in other markets, what I watch to correlate, there's no way they're going to slam these 22s. All the 10-year cash is trading their high right now. Trading the high of the day. I don't know what the 10-year future is. I got to look at it. It's a few ticks off their high. But wow, see, so somebody sells 84 there. If I were the first 200, fine. I would have gotten like 40, 50. I'd have gotten a bunch of contracts there, and I'd be sitting there 4,000 versus 600 right now with an unbelievable edge.
Right.
Which I would gladly take. And that's the most frustrating thing. And again, you know what? I could look at the fill right now. I already know nobody was on there with that because I could see that. I see the first. I see how the orders were broken up. I know everything was legit there. But I mean, I look for it all day to see how many times it happens, and it happens. Doesn't happen every day, but it happens. More than making it a fair market, let's say. And that's whatever. But I mean, it will never be. It will never be tied to a Joe Public, investor thing. It's not going to be like this great Ponzi scheme you're going to uncover. And it doesn't affect that many people. It affects traders. It doesn't affect the general public. And unfortunately, it affects
the people that are still engaged in open outcry, right? For sure.
Yeah, but even open outcry, I don't know how many people really saw what was going on with that. I mean, okay. I know people who witnessed it too. I'm not the only one who saw what was going on. I talked to a few traders that saw what was going on with this algo, and it's just disheartening. I mean, to be honest, that's what it is. I don't really care. If they told me, hey, this won't happen again, and it never happened again, I could care less about whatever money I'm out. Really makes no difference to me. It really doesn't. I don't really care.
Well, I mean, I think you made quite clear that it was the point of it more than the dollar amount. You weren't bitching about losing money. You were bitching about the fundamental market itself. Is the market
and that's what's the most frustrating thing about it. Hey, we have the rules. You guys created this rule. You created this element, or this for a reason. Stick to it. make sure it's honored. You know, by the rules you set forth. I didn't set forth the rules. I just play by the rules that are given to me. Here's the playbook. Here's the rule book. Do with what do what you will with it. And and that's all I'm trying. Yeah, and that's all I want to do. I mean, I wish people would realize, like, being first. Like, God, I mean, I wish I could be. You know what you can be first on? You know, this is why traders are awesome. People who trade the sim. Go ahead and trade the sim. Trade the mini S&P on the sim market, and you'll be like, holy shit, I make 10 to 15 grand a day doing this. It's because there's no element, there's no FIFO element on the sim products. It forgets where you are in place all the time. You think you're getting fills you'll never get in real life. I mean, imagine running that algo. Like, believe me, if I were running that algo and I had that ability, the 2 years, the market I would do it in. It wouldn't be the market I'd do it in. Do the mini S. I don't know what the mini S&P trades on a daily basis now. But seeing is that, the 10 years down at 1 million cars a day, I'd imagine, the SPOOs are probably around the same million and a half.
Okay, I think it's closer to 1 million. It's been running at generally.
Okay, so 1 million. Still, I don't know. The 2 years probably finished a little over 100K today, maybe 110. So 10 times the amount of opportunities in the mini S&P. And in the grains, while the grains is a very volatile market. I think everyone knows that, how fast they move. It's a very fast-moving market, much like gold and oil. They move fast, and if you have the ability to be first on certain levels or stuff that if it only trades 9 times and somehow you got 3 gold at the high, it adds up fast. If there's some talented traders out there that can hold stuff like, hey, what a fill. It's not one of my skills. I've done it at times, like I think I put out there that I'm short the Dow. I think I think we'll see a 15,000 print in front of the futures by October 1st. That's dropping 1,000 points in 2 months or 3 months. What are we? August, September? Yeah, 2 months, 1,000-point drop. I mean, is it anything? No, it's a gut feel. I don't really care. I don't have enough on. I have a 2 lot. I don't really care. Yeah. And whatever happens. I'll take. It's a $10,000 win for a. I haven't even decided what my out's going to be, but I'm not close to it right now.
Right.
But it's more of a fun trade, just because I'm bored. And you know what? I forgot. When I'm bored, I do. I don't want to say stupid things, but I buy stuff on eBay at work. I can go to Amazon, buy crap I don't need.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I know the feeling. I did clean a table yesterday, though.
Yeah. So yeah. So, because you can only clean your desk so many times at work, and so, I try to do, it's the summer, so I try to do some more stuff with the kids. School's, a month away.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'd like to thank you for joining us today, too.
Yeah,
I can't believe this is the first time that we haven't had any of the kids join us.
No, the kids are, it's the first, we actually have a night off tonight from sporting events. And it's our last one off until, I think it all ends like July 29th or something. The baseball, softball, it all ends. It's done, and then that's it. But it's every night. I'm carding. I'm in Elmhurst, Wooddale. I never even knew that existed. We're in a tournament in Wooddale. I didn't even know that. Like, it's like, where the hell is this? It's not that far from the house. Never heard of it before. Wooddale and Bensonville and Elmhurst. I don't know where else we are. One more Lombard. It's all local tournaments. I've heard of everyone except Wooddale.
Yeah.
So, just driving around on that stuff. But no, the kids are all, a couple of them are jumping in a trampoline. I'm sure some of them need stitches right now. Wow.
Well, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to join us and letting us know about this algo and just some insights into the trading in the bonds. I thank you so much. I'm going on vacation on Saturday. I got to drive one of my kids' cars back here, which is like a 13-hour drive. But eventually I'll get.
That's nice of you.
Yeah, it's nice of me. I'm a hell of a guy.
Yeah. Anyway. Well, we'll do it again in 2 weeks. We'll do it again in 2 weeks. We'll pick a time. We'll definitely have to do it before the Treasury roll.
Yeah, definitely. Let's definitely do that.
Okay.
Thanks very much. Bye, everyone.